Some updates are starting to come out with Naomi's condition, so we'll see what's that about. We'll also check out what's happening with Roman, Bayley, and more. Starting things off with the shocking developments for Naomi. Naomi was set for a big title defense on the August 11th edition of Raw, but just a few hours before the show went on the air, the company announced that the match was getting pulled from the card due to Naomi not being medically cleared to compete. It was a massive shock to the community because there's been no indication or reports at all that Naomi was dealing with any type of injury. Everything was peaceful and quiet until the company dropped that bombshell about Naomi just hours before the match was set to take place. As of right now, there's no word at all on what's wrong with Naomi. Naomi hasn't said much of anything about not being medically cleared. Naomi did post a clip of herself over the weekend on her scooter luggage, going very fast before hitting a bump and getting launched off the scooter, but the video cuts before the outcome of the fall could be seen. Naomi posted the video in a real comedic fashion, with the caption mentioning that she's been listening to Jacob Fatu too much by going all gas, no brakes, so it didn't seem like the scooter fall caused the injury, but that's one of the theories fans came up with, asking questions on if that fall potentially banged Naomi up that badly. Because everything was all good just a week ago, they booked this title defense, it was said to happen here, so whatever caused Naomi to lose her medical clearance had to be something that popped up just within the last few days. Maybe it was the scooter fall, maybe it can be illness related, but fans are seriously hoping that it's not a serious injury, because Naomi literally just finished climbing back up to the top of the mountain. It would be devastating if an injury took Naomi out this early into a world title reign. You also have your group of fans that don't really know if they want to believe the Naomi injury news or not, and that's definitely an effect of what we recently saw the company do with Seth Rollins, where they faked an injury, pretended that Seth wasn't medically cleared. Also, they can create that SummerSlam moment and trick everyone. So naturally, there's some people out there right now that are wondering if it's a real injury or another storyline related twist. Another interesting thing to point out was that not only was Naomi not cleared to compete, she was also not present backstage at Raw at all. She couldn't compete and wasn't at the show. Those factors do make it seem like it's more illness related rather than devastating injury related. But again, it's all speculation. But everyone's fingers are crossed that it's nothing serious and that Naomi will shake it off in a few weeks at best. There's been a lot of confusion regarding Roman's upcoming future because he is rumored to begin filming soon on the Street Fighter movie. But the official Clash in Paris poster features Roman Reigns front and center of the graphic, a clear indication that he will be in action at that event on August 31st. A lot of fans assume that Roman could potentially find himself involved with Seth Rollins at that event, but that doesn't seem to be the plan. It was just made official that Seth Rollins will be putting his world title on the line against LA Knight and CM Punk in a fatal 4-way match. So that cancels out any hope of seeing Roman versus Seth at that event. Seems like they'll be holding off on Roman versus Seth until a much later date. So if Roman won't be involved with Seth Rollins at Clash in Paris, then what will Roman be doing and who would he be facing at that event? Well, all the context clues point to Bronson Reed potentially being Roman's Clash in Paris opponent. This is evident by the way Bronson Reed had a whole backstage promo directly aimed at Roman Reigns, and how he intends to steal more of Roman's shoes until he gets acknowledged. Bronson Reed is also continuing to wear the 2 pair of stolen sneakers around his neck. The entire Bronson Reed sneaker stealing act is fun, and fans are having a great time with it. But from a storytelling perspective, it does feel like a little step back compared to the great stories Roman has been involved with in recent years. This is someone who had deep, rich stories with every match he was a part of. But now with this matchup with Bronson Reed, it looks like they're feuding over some pairs of stolen Jordans, which on the surface could be seen as being a little bit of a weaker storyline. Is this feud just about Roman getting his sneakers back, or is there a deeper story there after all? That's the part that's definitely a bit iffy there. But with Seth occupied with the fatal 4-way, it does look like it can be Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. Roman's storylines haven't been super complex lately. His appearances are rare, and his matches are even more rare, so there's a lot of obstacles there to manage. But fans are hoping that things get back on track with Roman here in the near future. In other news, it seems like an exciting change is coming to Bayley over on Raw. Ever since April, seeds have been planted for Bayley to eventually snap and explode. She had her WrestleMania match stolen from her, and she lost opportunities for the tag team titles and Intercontinental Championship. On top of all the failures in the ring, Bayley also witnessed her friendship with Lyra explode and collapse as well. So for nearly half of 2025, Bayley has just found herself in messy situations over and over again that always end with the worst outcomes imaginable for her. And it seems like that pressure on Bayley's shoulders is finally starting to break her. Bayley had a backstage video package that aired on the August 11th edition of Raw that featured Bayley taking a step back and analyzing her career so far. Bayley mentioned how lost she felt in current day. She even said that over the last year, she can't remember a single time that she felt proud of herself. And Bayley is definitely right there. It was in fact 1 year ago where everything started falling apart for Bayley. She lost the women's title at SummerSlam 2024, and ever since then until current day, it's extremely difficult to name one single accomplishment for Bayley. It's been an absolutely miserable year, no doubt about it. So as these failures stack up, and this accomplishment drought continues, it looks like Bayley is really starting to get in her own head, causing more issues. The video package for Bayley ends with her closing her eyes and putting her hands over her ears, and we the audience can also hear what Bayley hears in her head. She hears her 2021 heel self talking and laughing before the screen fades to black. The early 2024 babyface run for Bayley was great, and it was nice that she had that run as a babyface, but a lot of fans agree that when you compare Bayley's recent heel runs to her recent babyface runs, her heel runs blow the babyface runs out of the water, and it's not even close. Bayley's recent babyface character has been very one-dimensional, with not much really being there for that persona. But Bayley's heel characters in recent memory have been very complex characters that are extremely deep and intriguing, so fans absolutely prefer to see heel Bayley for sure. And considering that Bayley has been through all these hardships lately and really views herself as a failure over the last year, it looks like what she's doing there at the end of the video package is trying not to listen to the voice in her head that's telling her to revert back into her old and evil ways. There was nothing like heel Bayley from during the pandemic era in 2020 and 2021. She absolutely found herself as a heel and had everything going for her, but Bayley suffered a torn ACL right in the height of that heel run, and she never got to tap back into that persona, because when she returned in 2022 with Damage Control, Bayley was a slightly different version of herself. But if current day Bayley is going to revert to 2021 Bayley's persona, just a full-blown psycho heel, that's very exciting, and it would take Bayley's character from being a bit bland to being extremely character-driven and exciting to watch. So there's absolutely no doubt what they confirmed is coming back there for Bayley. That 2021 persona appears to be on its way back, but we'll still have to see how the heel turn happens itself. It seems like the logical thing would be for Bayley to turn heel on Lyra and kick off the persona change by a big action like that. Something else the fans threw out there as a theory was the idea of Bayley maybe not fully committing to the 2021 persona, but maybe entering a state of having a split personality. Because telling by the end of that video package, Bayley was trying to keep her inner thoughts under control, but we know what's in there and what's trying to come out. So is it possible that we see both sides of Bayley being on display in the future? Maybe moments where Bayley is her normal self and has everything under control, but then also have moments where she snaps and loses it, which allows that ding-dong Bayley persona to rise to the surface. So a lot of fans are looking forward to that massive character change for Bayley. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.